Everything was calm and peaceful near the temple. Johann stood talking with his mother, Queen Arya, while Princess Rania played nearby with the giant silver wolves, their soft growls and laughter echoing in the warm air. Suddenly, the wind began to stir. A low murmur at first, growing steadily louder. The ground trembled beneath their feet, a faint but unmistakable warning. And then, everything stopped. For a moment, the world held its breath. Queen Arya glanced around, wide-eyed, as an eerie silence blanketed the clearing. Then, without warning, a violent gust of wind tore through the air. A deafening howl, louder than thunder, ripped across the sky, sending Queen Arya flying like a scrap of paper. Johann lunged forward, grabbing her arm and pulling her down, struggling against the raging wind that only grew stronger by the second. Above them, dark clouds surged across the sky, cracking it open with blinding lightning and the roar of thunder. Nearby, the silver lake thrashed violently, swelling and raging until it no longer resembled a peaceful lake, but a furious sea, ready to devour the entire forest. At that moment, Kira faced the full fury of the giant moon phoenix. A towering tornado of water raged around him, and spears of ice tore through the air, piercing into his body. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, now shimmering silver. His black hair began to grow, stretching longer behind him, slowly shifting from black to radiant silver, flowing wildly in the storm. And then, something even more extraordinary happened. The moon phoenix paused mid-attack, its eyes wide with shock. The ice spears embedded in Kira's body began to melt, their water drawn into him. Even the raging water tornado collapsed inward, as if the storm itself recognized him, no longer its enemy, but its master. Within moments, the whirlwind vanished, leaving Kira standing at its center, his silver hair gleaming, his power radiating like the heart of a rising storm. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. The moon phoenix watched, stunned, unable to grasp what was unfolding before it. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered above Kira, swallowing the sky. The air thickened with the rumble of thunder, and a streak of lightning cut through the darkened sky. A violent wind tore through the air, pushing everything around it in chaos. Then, as if summoned by the fury of the storm, heavy rain began to pour, a torrential flood that seemed endless. The phoenix, struggling against the downpour, tried to control the water surging around him, but it was futile. The rain was relentless, and all he could do was summon a protective shield around his body, eyes wide in disbelief as the storm raged on. From behind Kira, the ocean itself seemed to rise. Towering waves, massive and unstoppable, rushed forward, devouring the trees in their path. They gathered with terrifying speed, converging into a massive, spiraling vortex, a boundless tornado of water, wind, and energy. The moon phoenix stared in awe as the vortex swallowed them both. Within the swirling tempest, the air crackled with unrelenting lightning. Thunder boomed through the chaos as bolts of energy shot through the storm, lighting the dark sky. The water around them twisted, shifting constantly, flashing between water, ice, and steam, each transformation more rapid and violent than the last. In the eye of the storm, Kira's body floated, lifted by an unseen force. His silver eyes gleamed with an ethereal glow, the long strands of his white hair whipping around him, reflecting the blinding, thunderous light. The power radiating from him seemed to draw the very storm towards him, as if he were the eye of the hurricane itself. Each bolt of lightning danced along his form, illuminating his toned body with a brilliant flash, the very embodiment of raw power. The moon phoenix stared at Kira with astonishment and admiration, its voice ringing out, "Yes, yes, this is the power I sensed even in the depths of my slumber, the power that forced me to awaken." For a few moments, Kira struggled, the immense force of the surrounding elements threatening to overwhelm him. But then, with a surge of will, the chaos stilled. Only soft, white snow drifted gently around him, swirling in the quiet air. Suspended high in the sky, Kira looked down at the colossal phoenix, a small, confident smile curving his lips. "Is this special enough for you?" he asked. The moon phoenix lowered its head in reverence, its voice soft and filled with awe. "I am honored to be your companion," it whispered. Johann, Arya, and Rania raced through the snow-covered fields, searching frantically for any sign of Kira. When they finally found him, they stopped in awe. Kira was floating high in the sky, one hand gently resting on the massive head of the moon phoenix. Light snow danced around them, caught in a silent, swirling dance. Rania gasped, her mouth falling open in shock. Arya's eyes shimmered with emotion as she whispered, "He did it! He bonded with the phoenix." Johann stood still, his gaze fixed on his son with fierce pride. "You're growing up fast, son," he said quietly. The entire day passed as Kira remained with the phoenix, deepening their bond. During this time, visions kept flashing before his eyes. A long, slender sword, its blade pure white and its handle the color of snow, floating above a small silver lake. It gleamed brilliantly under the light of the full moon, calling out to him like a distant whisper from the stars. The next day, Kira approached Arya, a question burning in his mind. He spoke quietly yet firmly. "I keep seeing a sword. In visions. It appears when I'm bonding with the moon phoenix. It's always the same, glowing, ancient, and powerful." Arya's expression turned thoughtful. "The moon phoenix has lived for thousands of years. That sword may have belonged to one of its past masters. Or perhaps it's a relic tied to the phoenix's power itself. Maybe it's just an old memory echoing through the creature's spirit." She paused, then asked, "Have you tried asking the moon phoenix directly?" Kira looked down. "I did, but..." She avoids the question. "It's like she's blocking that part of her memory from me." Arya nodded slowly, her tone more serious now. "If that sword is tied to the moon, then you need to go to the moon cave. That place holds ancient secrets. You might find the answers you're looking for." Kira raised an eyebrow. "The moon cave? Is it nearby?" Arya stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "I can open a portal to the moon cave, but I must warn you. No one enters that place alone and returns. You'll need a group." She walked to the edge of the glowing spring, gazing into its shimmering waters. Luckily, this time of year, the Moon Tribe prepares to send their next generation into the cave. It's part of their rite of passage, a trial before they can be called Moon Tribe mages. Kira furrowed his brow. "So I'll just join them?" Arya shook her head slowly. "Not so easily. You don't look your age anymore. You've grown too quickly. If you show up like this, they'll never accept you." She turned to him with a strange, knowing smile. "I want you to return to your original form, back to the child you were, 10 years old." Kira blinked in disbelief. "Wait, is that even possible?" A familiar voice echoed from behind, warm and strong. "Of course it is." Kira spun around to see his father standing there, arms folded, smiling. "After being acknowledged by Gara and King Eldrick, you now carry their essence. You can access any of their powers. And yes, that includes returning to your true form whenever you wish." Kira closed his eyes. A soft glow flickered across his skin as his body began to shrink and shift. In moments, he had returned to the appearance of a 10-year-old child. As the transformation settled, powerful winds whipped through the trees around them, swirling with his uncontained energy. Arya stepped forward calmly, her voice firm but caring. "Be careful," she warned. "Your magic is much stronger in your original form than in Gara's. Focus. Control it. Don't let it control you." Kira took a steady breath and focused. The winds slowed and settled into stillness. "I was surprised by the difference," he said. "But don't worry, I won't lose control. I'm ready now. Show me how to reach the moon cave." Arya nodded. "I'll send you to Nala, a friend of mine who lives nearby. Tell her you're my grandson, and she will help you." With a graceful motion, she summoned a swirling portal of silver and green. Without hesitation, Kira stepped through. The portal snapped shut behind him. Kira found himself standing alone. Before him stood a small wooden house, weathered and quiet. The air was still. He stepped forward, cautiously opening the door and calling out, "Is anyone here? Do you hear me, Nala?" Suddenly, without warning, an invisible force hurled him into the air. He slammed against the ceiling, dangling helplessly. Below him, an elderly woman with sharp eyes entered the room. "Who are you?" she demanded. "What are you doing here?" "I'm Kira," he called down. "The grandson of Arya, the Druid Queen. She sent me to you." Nala narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "Arya died a long time ago." "Yes, I know," Kira said quickly. "But her spirit still lives at the heart of the ancestors' forest. I just came from there." The wind holding him in the air vanished. He dropped to the floor with a thud. Nala stepped closer. "Are you Johan's son?" "Yes." She crossed her arms. "Then prove it. Do something only a warrior could do." Kira nodded. He closed his eyes. His muscles tensed, bulging, and his body grew taller in an instant. "Enough!" Nala snapped. "Return to your true form. Here, don't show any warrior power. Everyone in this village hates warriors. If they find out one still exists." She let the threat hang in the air. "Now tell me why you've come." Kira replied without hesitation. "I want to enter the moon cave." Nala's expression shifted from stern to stunned. "What do you want from the moon cave?" "I keep seeing it in my dreams," Kira said. "A long white sword with a white handle and a red ribbon at the end, floating over a lake under a full moon. Do you know of such a sword?" Nala shook her head. "No, I've never heard of one like that. And I'm afraid I can't help you enter the cave." "Why not?" "Because you have to be a magician, and you must possess control over either water or wind. A warrior, no matter how strong, cannot pass through the cave's gate." Kira lifted his hand. A light breeze flowed from his palm, brushing Nala's silver hair. Her eyes widened. "That's not possible. I've never seen a warrior wield magic." She paused, her voice softer. "So that's why Arya sent you here." She stepped forward. "Listen carefully. The moon cave is dangerous. You cannot enter it alone. I'll introduce you as my grandson. A group is already waiting to enter tonight, when the moon is full." Her voice grew stern again. "Stay with the group. Do not go deeper than the first underground floor. Beyond that, your life is at risk. You may have wind magic, but you still have much to learn." Kira nodded. "How deep does the cave go?" As she handed him a set of clothes worn by the new generation, she replied, "The first floor is for initiates. After that, those who pass through a magic school based on their abilities may enter the second and third floors. A rare few have returned from the fourth floor alive. No one knows how far it goes beyond that." She gestured toward another room. "Change quickly. We don't have much time before the cave appears. I must register your name before the others arrive."